our faith tradition, particularly as seen through the lens of Catholic social teaching, is very rich. And I think by having two dialogue partners, that would be science as well as the rich tradition of faith, it will provide a different playing field, a different way of seeing things and understanding things for seminarians and those preparing for ministry. For example, we can look at racism as an important issue, particularly in America today. And through the lens of sciences like anthropology, we come to a clearer understanding of the roots of that and how it plays out, particularly as we understand ourselves. Certainly, I think contemporary church teaching with Laudato Si really helps us look at the communion that we need to build. It's collaboration between cultures. It's sharing a common vision. It's opening our hearts to one another and not being afraid to move forward. Science, religion, philosophy, I believe all help us do that.
As I see the impact that social science in particular has, there are aspects of psychology that are natural science, but that's outside of my area. But I can speak to social science in particular. One of the things that I really believe is really important is if we think about Catholic social teaching and some of the principles involved there, particularly the dignity of the human person, the dignity of work, the care and stewardship for the environment, the preferential option for the poor, I think psychology has a lot to contribute there, especially what we know about the effects of poverty on human development, how children are affected, how families are affected, and the impact on basic kinds of things like physiological growth and development, as well as opportunities for education, and thinking about how a seminarian is aware of the diversity of opinion on this topic in particular, thinking about it from a social psychological perspective, sociological perspective, understanding the nature of culture and cultural diversity, especially as they work in different kinds of environments. A seminarian really does need to know the fullness of human life and what its impact is, especially when beginning to preach on the basic principles of Catholic social teaching. So for me, it's key. In the same way that I think it's extremely important that future educators, whether they be K-12 educators or even college or university educators, need to understand who they are teaching. And in the same way, I believe that seminarians need to know who they are ministering to. The complexity of adult life and child life is very, very important for them to have a sense of, to be able to understand from their perspective the challenges of their life that can help then seminarians make an environment so that they're welcoming to their flock and give them the kind of guidance that they seek.
From my point of view, I think there are two ways of approaching this. One would be greater knowledge. And that would mean, for example, that a knowledge of economics could help people understand, help the students and help church leaders understand the plight of the poor. And knowledge of political science and how politics work could help see how those difficulties might be changed. There could be other disciplines that could contribute in other ways as well. The other possibility, I think, or the other way of bringing about greater understanding of Catholic social teaching would be to consider the experience that might be provided for students. For example, doing some of their parish ministry in poorer areas, in parishes that have few resources. Also to send them on their mission trips that would be perhaps in other countries or even in very poor parts of the United States. There is nothing quite like experience for a student or for anyone to understand a situation.